All right, everyone. This is Andrew Bermudez, former commercial real estate broker and founder and CEO of Digsy AI, and I am joined here today by our wonderful partner, Vita Carante. Say hi, Vita. So Vita is, I'm actually co-pilot today because she's manning everything. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some awesome things that we usually get a lot of questions from Digsy AI users. As a lot of you may know, I was a senior vice president at a company called Lee & Associates. I see Alan Buchanan's joining us here, so hats off to you, Alan, who's also from Lee & Associates. And we'll be recording this webinar, so in this coaching session. So don't worry about it. We'll be distributing slides. You can share it with your friends. You can share it to whoever you think that may benefit from this content. But this is stuff that I learned throughout the years and things that I've learned from other brokers and things that just simply work. So I'm happy to share them with you. There is a chat box and a question panel on the GoToMeeting. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please type them in there and we will get to those questions at the end of the presentation. So have at it. I'm going to turn off the camera and I'm going to get started. And let me see. All right, so can everybody see my screen okay? Just go ahead and enter in the chat box if you can see my screen. I just want to make sure that you guys get the content. All right, it looks like Alan said he is. He saw the screen. All right, fantastic. So what we are going to be going after today is how to find tenants who are ready to move. The holy grail of commercial real estate prospecting. So I want to just kind of go back in time and talk about a little bit about how things are today. So where we are today is for a long time, me being a former commercial real estate broker and being a commercial real estate platform, brokers have searched for ways to be able to save time, have more time for themselves. At the same time, make more money, and that way they can live a fuller life, right? You don't wake up in the morning and say, I want to work for the rest of my life, right? You're really selling commercial real estate and trying to make more commissions to be able to really live life to its fullest. But what's happened is that many of the business development strategies that we've learned from others or in the past are no longer working. So usually what you'll hear is you got to make more calls, you got to knock on more doors, get out on the pavement. But what many people find is that those tactics don't yield the results they once did. So if you step back, what you really realize is that commercial real estate has changed dramatically. I mean, technology-wise, the way that tenants engage with brokers, they have a lot of information at their disposal. So there is definitely a need for adaptation here. So we're going to get started on how to find tenants who are ready to move, and hopefully this will help you get around some of those challenges there. So we're going to jump right in this. And one thing is we'd love to kind of be able to start with a paradigm, and that is for you to be ruthless with your time. You're in 100% commission. Nobody pays you a salary. Every minute that you waste and doesn't have purpose, when it adds up to an hour, it actually is burning $100 or more in your pocket. So keep that in mind. And that's one thing why time is of the essence, and having purpose and knowing exactly how to do things is extremely important. So if we want to achieve our goals, we have to have one first. So if your goal is to make $200,000 a year, then just break it down and see what do I need to do to hit that, because that's going to make me happy, that's going to fulfill me, and that's how I'm going to reach my goals, and I'm going to be able to go spend more time with my family or my hobbies or pursuing different things or go on vacation, etc. So let's say, for example, you want to make $200,000 a year and your average commission per deal is $5,000. That means that you have to close 40 deals a year. And what you can do is you can actually look at these conversion metrics on the sales statistics that are out there. So sales statistic is you get a 2% appointment rate when you cold call. So if you make 100 calls, you get 2 appointments. Now, your appointment to client conversion ratio is going to differ depending on what you found in the past. Some people will close 100%, some people won't. So let's just say you have let's say out of every appointment you make, half of those appointments actually turn into a client. And out of the people you start working with, about 50% of those turn into clients or close a deal with you. So you set X number of appointments, you meet with X amount of clients, you close Y deals. And we want to get to 40 deals. And when you reverse this math, you actually end up with 8,000 cold calls. Now that seems pretty daunting, but you can actually break this down further. So 8,000 cold calls means that you make 667 calls per month, and that's only 33 calls a day. It makes it very achievable. But let's go back to being ruthless with your time. If you calculate 33 calls a day, sounds pretty easy, but the average phone call, this is taking into account voicemails that you leave and voicemails that you don't leave on conversations you actually happen and span. When you average all those calls together, it's about 7.5 minutes, which means you're going to spend about 4 hours of your day cold calling. So you have to be ruthless. Are you going to do them early in the morning? Are you going to do them in the afternoon? How are you going to squeeze in that time? So keep that in mind. Begin with the end in mind, and then let's go into tactics. And we're going to jump into that here momentarily. In case you guys want to know how to calculate this, I'll be distributing this presentation, and you're going to have a link right here at the bottom where you're able to download the spreadsheet to quickly calculate what your goals are and how many calls you have to make. So here is the traditional move funnel of a tenant. This is how most brokers operate. So in this timeline on the left, you have tenant moving in. Then you have the middle, which is with the tenant just enjoying the space or using it. Then you have the period where the lease expiration looms, so it's coming near its expiration date, and then the lease expires. And what you see a lot of is you see brokers operating in this section right here. Near the lease expiration, every broker on earth is calling them. And that is high competition. It's super crowded. Tenants get annoyed, and at the end of the day, only one lucky broker is going to get the deal. And when competition is that fierce, just keep in mind that everybody says, hey, I'd love to have all lease expirations. Well, keep in mind, if everybody had the lease expirations, you still have the same problem. Everybody's calling that tenant. But really where the magic happens is trying to break yourself out of this box. The period where the tenant actually enjoys the space is when they start showing signs that they might be moving. So way before the lease expiration, you can actually identify tenants that are going to need your services. And you got to use these to your advantage. For example, some of the things that you'll find is here to the left, we'll go in order. You see hiring. So a company that has many job listings online means that they're growing. Another thing is, too, that a company, let's say, receives funding, right? Let's say from a venture capitalist, from a private equity firm. Usually funding is given for a company to grow. Investors want to make money. Growth makes money. So that's usually a signal that there's going to be a change, that this company is most likely going to expand. Another one is change of leadership. The CEO gets replaced, somebody else. Usually that leadership change comes about because the investors want to see growth or growth tactics that are made differently. So that usually signals a potential commercial real estate opportunity. Partnership agreements, that one's an interesting one. So let's say, for example, Company A announces a partnership with Company B. What that translates into, they form a partnership so they can both make more money. And usually it's to increase their distribution, which means more sales. More sales, it means more customer support. It means more operations people. It means more back-end people. It means more people in the warehouse if you're an industrial or manufacturing company. And then lastly, it's mergers and acquisitions, so M&A. A company buying another one or a company being acquired is a sign that there's going to be some change. They could, not use as much of the space that they need. They could also be absorbing another company and maybe even growing or wanting to move that company or those people closer. So that's something that you should definitely stay alert from is, okay, where are these signals coming from and who is that company? But then there's another thing too, aside from those announcements and those news, and is who learns about these things first? Well, for example, the property manager, especially on-site property managers, know who's busting at the seams, who's hiring a lot. The same thing with a listing broker. The listing broker talks to the property manager and or may talk to the tenant, and they're informed of that. If you're in tenant rep, that's a good opportunity for you. And then eventually what ends up happening is even if the lease is not coming for expiration, they're trying to work with a tenant to move them to another space or do anything else. But that's a signal when the space gets listed that that tenant's making a change. And it's your job to have caught all the news ahead of time and all the information ahead of time to be able to make that. So you don't necessarily have to wait for a tenant to fulfill their 5-year obligation because they may move out in a year or two. You just got to be alert for the signals. So these are all moving signs, and these are all opportunities for you that you should take advantage of. So I'm going to go into how to find these people. So hiring, receiving funding, leadership changes, partnership announcements, M&A announcements. How do you find these things? Well, it's actually pretty easy. You can go to job listing sites. So for example, Indeed.com, Monster.com. When it comes to funding news, you can go to Crunchbase.com. They usually on a daily basis alert who is receiving funding. If there's a specific company you're targeting, you can go to Google Alerts. And you can set up an alert to tell you any news that come up in real time about a specific company that you're chasing. And then there's also news service alerts, which will aggregate these news across the board. And there's some services too that will do it across what your the context in like your either CRM or a database or a spreadsheet that will give you relevant news to that. So I'm going to give you an example on how to do this. So for example, if you want to set an alert on Indeed, I'm going to give you a walkthrough here so you don't have to spend an hour trying to figure it out. It's on their website. When you land on their landing page, their homepage, there is a search bar. And then there's a little section that says Advanced Job Search. You click on that, and then to the right in the screenshot, you'll see that you can select job types, etc. I usually just select all job types and show jobs from all websites because they aggregate jobs from different websites. I exclude staffing agencies, and what I do is where and when is I put location 50 miles from Irvine. Let's say I do business in the Irvine area. I want to be notified of people in Irvine. Then when I go to the search results page, which is here at the bottom, you'll see the listings, but to the right, you'll see that there's a little box that says be the first to see jobs in Irvine, CA. And you enter your email address there, and what it's going to do is it's going to send you jobs of anybody hiring in Irvine. And all you have to do is scan it once a day, and then what you'll find out is you'll start seeing the same companies pop over and over again, and those are the companies that are hiring a lot. And those are the companies that you immediately want to pick up the phone and call those prospects. They are showing signs that they're growing and their space is probably not going to work for them. So that's just one example. I do want to be sensitive of your time, so in this webinar we won't be showing all of the other news services and different tools that you can use so you don't spend so much time researching this stuff. So if you're not already on our newsletter, most of you are, you can just sign up using this link. It'll be on the slide deck that I'll upload so that you guys can download it. And go ahead and fill out your information there, and you'll receive news in our next webinar on how to use these tools, which is coming up. And the other thing too is I want to go over how to find tenants ready to move aside from news, and that is listing brokers, property managers, and venture capitalists. Venture capitalists know which ones of their companies are getting bought out. Property managers know who's busting at the seams, who's showing signs of growth, and so do listing brokers because they all communicate. A great thing to do is to become friends with listing brokers, property managers, and venture capitalists in your area that you do the most business with, or where you want to do the most business with. Maybe you want to do Class A high-rise, or maybe you want to do large box retail, or maybe we want to do large box industrial warehouse. But you know, become really good friends, add value to them, share information with them. If you're moving a tenant, let them know. If you did a deal somewhere, share the comps. You know, it's not a one-way street. They won't help you if you won't help them. But put it on your calendar to go out to lunch with them once a month, and even treat them if you can afford it. And then get the scoop on the tenants they're working with and the spaces that they have, and get referrals. That's the easiest way. They know when something's happening, and you can actually step away from the competition and capture the business before every broker on earth starts calling them. Back to this. This is a very important point, and this is to be ruthless with your time. When I spoke 4 hours a day, that may seem easy, but you got to keep in mind there's only 8 hours in the day. That means you're going to be spending half your day prospecting, and that can be achievable, but it can be unachievable as well. If you've got tours, if you got to put together a package, if you're got to jump on the phone doing a lease negotiation with an attorney, if you got multiple of those things in combination throughout your day, it's going to be pretty hard for you to achieve. So since you are all users of Digsy AI, you got to know that you can actually chop this time in half. And the way that you can do that, 2 hours a day is super easy, actually. 4 hours, not so much. 2 hours, you can do it extremely, extremely easy. And the way that you can do that is you can reduce this to 2 hours using the tools we already give you on Digsy AI. There's the auto dialer, there's the automated CRM call logging, and the automatic email sync. And just to show you here, for example, you can pair your Digsy AI with your cell phone number and also with your landline. And it'll auto dial for you. You can take notes during the call. It'll update all of the things, and you can even schedule a follow-up with 2 clicks in the same interface and click log activity and move on. You can also send emails, and it will do the same thing, so you can move from call to call to call, send an email right after that call, and move on, so you can increase your chances of closing a deal. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that you know how to do this. So this is pretty easy. So here's my Digsy AI interface that you all have. And for example, I'm going to click on Nick right here. And it's showing me Nick's information, right? And I can scroll down to see if he's just sent me an email. He hasn't emailed me. So if I want to call Nick, I click this call button right here. And then if I haven't put my phone number, it'll say add new phone number. And then you can put your mobile and your direct line. And then it's going to ask you to confirm it. And then all you do is you click this button right here. And it's going to start calling them. And then what's going to happen is my phone is going to ring, and it's going to connect me with Nick. And Nick's going to pick up here real quick. Let's pretend that Nick is a prospect for me.
Hello?
Hey, Nick, this is Andrew from Digsy AI. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Hey, I was wondering, would you like to buy a nuclear ballistic missile for about $5,000?
Yeah.
Cool.
How much are you selling it for?
What's that?
How much are you selling it for?
$5,000.
Yeah, I can make that work.
All right, cool. I'll email you a proposal right away.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so I just got a sale. All right, now I got to go find a nuclear ballistic missile. So I got the call notes. You see that got transferred right here. So I'll put wants to buy missile, right? And I don't know how to spell, but I'll leave that right there. It knows that it answers, so it already pre-filled everything for me. It knows how long the call was, and I want to follow up with him on the proposal next week, and I'm going to log this activity. So I'm done with that, and then I can quickly email him the proposal, and I can say, okay, I want to send him a proposal. Maybe I have a follow-up here. Hey, Nick, and I'll change this here. I'll say attached is the proposal, and I just go down and click attachments. And let me see, I'll just pretend that this thing is a proposal right here. And I'll hit send. And what it says, email's been sent, and it allows me to even update when I want to follow up with them. And I click log activity, and guess what? Now I can move on to my next prospect. That's how essentially I can chop those 4 hours in half. And if I respond to Nick from my email, just so if you haven't paired your email yet, those emails are going to be in your Outlook or your Gmail, and if I respond here, it's going, if you respond from your phone or anywhere else, it's also going to show on Digsy AI. Just keep that in mind. So everything's fully synced so that you can just crush it through calls, so you can save time, spend more time with clients. Maybe you want to take off early and spend time with your family, you can do that. But let's go back. Be ruthless with your time. 4 hours does not sound fun, but you can do it in 2. Just do it with Digsy AI. If any of you have an issue setting this up, we have unlimited training, unlimited support. Just hit the little box on the application or email us, and we're happy to send it your way. So anyway, just to recap, stay apart from the competition and be as efficient as you can with your time. And I'll leave you with this. everything we do in life, every time that we remove a step, every time that we think of better ways to gain business, to spend more time, to save time, etc., that is simplicity. And that is the ultimate sophistication. And Leonardo da Vinci was very well achieved, and I'm going to follow his advice, and I hope you do too. With that being said, I would love to answer any questions. So I'm going to ask Vida, do we have any questions? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of questions do we have?
Let's see.
All right, so it doesn't look like anybody has any questions yet. Do you guys want to ask us anything? That's funny. Maybe we answered all their questions.
Yeah.
All right, so
Here
we
we
have.
go. We have one.
All righty. Where can I get Digsy AI? That is a good question. All you have to do is go to www.digsy.ai.
Where's the best place to meet listing agents?
So the best place to meet listing agents actually are the ones that just going to the multiple listing service, looking up the buildings that you like, and then just talking with them. When you're requesting information, chat with them a little bit more, get to know them, and start adding value and develop a relationship. Ask them if you can take them out to lunch, that you want to learn from them and see how they got to where they were, learn about them, develop a relationship, and move forward with that. Usually that's a really good way to do that.
What are some other ways I can save time using Digsy AI?
There's a multitude of things. If you sign up for the service, we'll show you. A lot of the users here know how to use it, so I think that I'll just sidestep that, but I'll get back with you a little bit later.
And here's another question. Can you give some examples on Google Alerts to set?
Yeah, that's a really good question on Google Alerts to set. So one thing that I can do, and let me show you on my browser here. Let me just go to, let me just open up alerts. Let me just search for Google Alerts here. And there's a big software company out in the area we're in called Cario. So I'm going to sign up for, I'm going to search for Cario, and I'm going to create an alert. And now what's going to happen is very easy. Anytime that news come out about Cario, it's going to alert me, and I can actually click edit and tell it how often I want to hear from them, sources. I can say, blogs, finance, anything like that, region. Maybe I want to do it just in the United States. How many, all results, best results, and what email address to deliver it to. If I have an RSS feed thing, which is some of the stuff that really techie people use, you can do that too. I'm techie, but I don't use RSS, so if you do, more power to you.
Oh, okay. Here's the next question from Jonathan Costa. Any other way besides CoStar to find these expiration dates?
Yes, that's a good question. So a good way to find lease expiration dates is there's a company called CompStak. That's CompStak. So CompStak without the C in stack. That's a really good way to find lease expirations. Another good way to find lease expirations is look at properties that are investments that are up for sale. Usually some of them, you got to be careful because some of them require confidentiality agreements, but some that don't, they'll give you the rent roll. You'll be able to see that. Another good way is to talk to property managers and become really good friends with listing brokers you do business with or you want to do more business with. They will definitely share that with you if they like you and they want to help you out because you're helping them. So that's usually a good way to do it. I will warn you though, when you start looking for lease expirations, you're going to have intense competition, and that's really what happens. It doesn't mean you won't get the business. It just means you're fighting an entire crowd. Usually, growing tenants will move out prior. They're not going to let their space hold them hostage for the growth of their business. They're going to either sub the space or expand throughout the building, and usually you'll be able to find out who is easily able to move or going to move by looking at all those signs, looking at how much you're hiring, looking at if they have received any funding, and any of the other signals that we talked about earlier.
Okay, so this is from Nina Steiner. She has like a specific scenario. But she's asking, do you have a listing agreement template you can send her
For a space.
for sublease?
I don't, Nina, but you know what? I know that our other brokers that use Digsy AI do. So I'll be happy to connect you with one of our brokers. If anybody on this webinar is willing to help Nina, please email me and I'll connect the two of you. Nina is just a fantastic human being. She works out of the LA market. So if anybody, outside that market and that market's willing to help and maybe even connect and to refer client back and forth, that'd be awesome.
Cool. This one's a good one. If every broker on earth is calling an expiring lease, how do you stand out?
Yeah, that's a good one. So that's a really good question. It's hard. So that's the one thing. It's really hard to stand out. It's like being the best looking person in the room and everybody else being single. I mean, you're just going to get bombarded to the point where you're just going to leave the bar, right? It just gets annoying after a while. So it's hard. Usually if you get introduced by somebody that they know and trust, you'll jump significantly on top of the stack. And that doesn't only apply to this, commercial real estate prospecting. It applies to everything. And I'll give you an example. I have friends, and I've done this myself too, where there has been a job position for some reason, and there's been a lot of people going after it. And because that one person's referred in from, let's say, another CEO or another person that person who's hiring knows and trusts, they've actually taken a meeting with them without even looking at the resume. Or when they look at the resume, say, hey, these people come highly referred, I'll take it. And the statistical data out there, you could just search for it online, goes that if you are referred to a prospect that's in the market from somebody that they know and trust, your likelihood that you'll win the business increases by 4 times. So that's 400x. So I would definitely go on LinkedIn, try to find how you're connected with them, take that person out to lunch or talk to them on the phone or really catch up and try to get a referral, an email referral in, or even making a phone call, or if you guys can all get together for drinks, that would be even better, who can vouch for you. But that's usually how you stand out, is with a social dynamic.
Okay, so next question from Nina Steiner. Can you suggest any networking opportunities to meet listing brokers, property managers, and VCs in LA?
Yeah, so I'll answer that, Nina. So VCs, there's in LA, there's a lot of different organizations. There is We Are LA Tech. There is also Silicon Beach. I forgot. It's called Silicon Beach something. There's also a company, several co-working spaces do this. I know that Cross Campus does this a lot, where they'll have venture capitalists and entrepreneurs. They'll have webinars on a weekly basis and seminars and talks and get-togethers and pizza and booze and things like that. That's a good place for that. For listing brokers, you don't need to go to networking opportunities. If you want to go to a networking opportunity to meet as many as you can, go to an open house for a building. Usually that's a good place to go to find listing brokers. Property managers, there are property manager organizations. You may want to look on Meetup too. Some of the property managers and brokers will set up their own meetups when they meet like once a week, once a month, etc. Look on meetup.com. That's a really good place to find people.
So looks like we don't have any questions left.
All righty.
Oh, we have one more.
Okay.
So if I set up a Google alert for a specific city, how can I quickly contact all those people that are affected by the alert?
If I set up for a specific city, how can I quickly contact? Okay, so a few things. Most likely you're going to have that that person in your Digsy AI, or if you're using some other CRM, you're going to have those people in there. So just quickly look for them on your CRM. Search for the company or the person's name. Another way is to just quickly look on LinkedIn and find who the decision maker usually is, which is the CEO, the CFO, the COO, the office manager, if it's more of like a law firm or an accounting firm, and try to get a hold of them.
Yeah, it looks like those are all the questions.
All righty. Well, thank you everybody for attending. We will definitely be distributing video recording of this, and we'll also be sending over the slides. If there's any questions at all, please reach out. We're here to help, and we want to see you guys successful. Until next time, thanks.